You're walking up the stairs in your own home, the same stairs you've climbed thousands of times over the past 20 years. But this time, by the third step, you feel it. That unfamiliar heaviness in your thighs. A trembling sensation that wasn't there 6 months ago. You grip the handrail a little tighter than usual. By the seventh step, your quadriceps are burning. Not the good burn you remember from your younger years at the gym. This is different. This feels like your legs are betraying you. Like the muscle that used to be there has somehow dissolved. You make it to the top, but you're breathing harder than you should be. And you think to yourself, maybe I just need to exercise more. Maybe I'm just out of shape. So the next day, you try. You go for a walk around the neighborhood. 20 minutes in, your legs feel like concrete. You used to walk for an hour without thinking about it. Now you're exhausted, and that night, your legs ache in a way that doesn't feel like normal muscle soreness. You try again the next week. Same result. Actually, worse. And a quiet little voice in the back of your mind starts whispering, is this just aging? Is this permanent? Am I losing my independence? If that story sounds familiar, if you are watching this right now and that scenario hit a little too close to home, I want you to stop whatever else you are doing and pay very close attention to the next 22 minutes because what I am about to share with you could genuinely save you from the cascade of health consequences that starts with weak legs and ends with a catastrophic loss of independence, increased fall risk, and a dramatically shortened lifespan. My name is Dr. Nathan Brooks, and today we are having the conversation that nobody wants to have, but that millions of people over the age of 50 desperately need. Today's topic: why your legs are weakening faster than the rest of your body, what's happening at the cellular level that makes traditional exercise almost useless if you don't address it first, and the 6 specific foods that rebuild muscle protein synthesis in a way that resistance training alone simply cannot match after age 50. What is muscle protein synthesis? How does it collapse after 50? What are the warning signs your body sends before leg weakness becomes dangerous? And most importantly, what do you eat, how much, and when to reverse this process step by step? I promise you, by the time this video is over, you are going to understand your own muscular system in a way that no doctor has ever taken the time to explain to you. And that knowledge, that is going to be the most important thing you carry out of this conversation. Before we continue, I need to be clear. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute personal medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary or exercise changes, especially if you have existing health conditions. Now, take a slow breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Before we get into this, I would love to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I read every single one, and it really helps me see who is part of this community and how far this information is reaching. Alright, now let us get into it. I want to start not with the solution, but with the problem itself, because here is the thing most people get wrong. They think leg weakness after 50 is about not exercising enough. Like your muscles are a bank account and you just need to make more deposits at the gym. But what we are dealing with here is not a simple input-output equation. This is more like trying to fill a bathtub when someone has pulled the drain plug. You can keep pouring water in, but if the drain is open, you will never fill the tub. The medical term for what you are experiencing is called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. But forget the clinical language for a moment. In plain human terms, here is exactly what is happening inside your body right now. Your skeletal muscle, particularly in your legs, is made up of muscle fibers. These fibers are bundles of protein strands, primarily actin and myosin, that contract and relax to create movement and support your body weight. Every single day of your life, your body breaks down a small percentage of these muscle proteins and rebuilds them. This is called muscle protein turnover. When you're young, the rate of protein synthesis, the rebuilding process, slightly exceeds the rate of breakdown. Net result, you maintain or build muscle easily. But something catastrophic happens around age 50, and it accelerates dramatically in your 60s and 70s. the rate of muscle protein synthesis starts to decline. Not because you're eating less protein, though that can be part of it, but because your muscle cells become resistant to the signals that normally trigger protein synthesis. It's called anabolic resistance. Your muscles stop responding efficiently to both dietary protein and to exercise stimulus. So you can eat the same chicken breast you ate at 30, lift the same weights you lifted at 30, and your muscles will build maybe 30 to 40% less new protein tissue than they would have 2 decades earlier. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a factory that produces chairs. That factory has workers who respond to orders. When you're young, an order comes in for 10 chairs, and the workers build 10 chairs. After 50, an order comes in for 10 chairs, but due to communication breakdown, the workers only build 6 chairs. Same order, same resources, less output. That communication breakdown, that is literally the metabolic situation happening inside your muscle cells. But here is what I really need you to understand. And this is critically important for anyone over 50. After the age of 50, several physiological shifts happen simultaneously that dramatically accelerate sarcopenia. Decline in growth hormone and testosterone, yes, in both men and women, which are critical signals for muscle protein synthesis. Increased chronic inflammation, what we call inflammaging, which actively breaks down muscle tissue. Reduced leucine sensitivity in muscle cells, leucine being the amino acid that acts like an ignition switch for protein synthesis. Mitochondrial dysfunction in muscle cells, meaning less energy available for the demanding process of building new muscle proteins. And decreased satellite cell activity, these are the stem cells that repair and rebuild damaged muscle fibers. So this is not a failure of your body. It is not your fault. It is a perfect storm of biological changes that nobody ever properly warned you about. And here's the critical part most doctors miss. You cannot exercise your way out of this if you don't address the nutritional foundation first. Before we go further, take a second and tell me, are you watching this for yourself or for someone you care about? Drop a comment below. I genuinely want to know who I'm speaking to and supporting here. Now, I want to spend a moment here on something genuinely important because the symptoms and beliefs around leg weakness can be deeply misleading, and getting them wrong can lead people to take exactly the wrong action, which can make everything dramatically worse. The first confusing belief, I just need to exercise more. Now, stay with me here because this is the one that sends the most people in the wrong direction. You might be sitting there thinking, if my legs are weak, I need to do squats, go to the gym, push harder. And here is the shocking truth about that. If your body is in a catabolic state, meaning muscle breakdown exceeds muscle synthesis due to inadequate protein intake and anabolic resistance, intense exercise will actually accelerate muscle loss. You read that correctly. Exercise creates muscle damage. That's normal. That's how muscle grows. You damage it, your body repairs it stronger. But if you don't have the nutritional building blocks and the metabolic signaling to repair that damage effectively, you just stay damaged. The muscle breaks down and doesn't rebuild. I have seen patients over 60 who started aggressive exercise programs, eating the same diet they always ate, and they got weaker. They lost muscle mass because they were in chronic recovery debt. If you have noticed progressive leg weakness along with unintentional weight loss, do not start an intense exercise program without addressing nutrition first. Please. The second confusing belief. I eat plenty of protein. Most people over 50 are eating nowhere near enough protein, but even if they are, they're distributing it wrong. Here's what I mean. Your body can only utilize a certain amount of protein per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. After 50, due to anabolic resistance, that threshold increases. If you eat a small breakfast with 10 grams of protein, a light lunch with 15 grams, and then a large dinner with 60 grams, you have failed to adequately stimulate muscle protein synthesis at breakfast and lunch, and you've exceeded the optimal utilization at dinner. That extra protein at dinner doesn't get stored as muscle. It gets converted to glucose or oxidized for energy. You need at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, rich in leucine, at each meal to overcome anabolic resistance after age 50. The third misleading belief, walking is enough. Walking is excellent for cardiovascular health, joint mobility, and mental health. I recommend it to everyone. But walking does not create sufficient mechanical tension to stimulate muscle protein synthesis in your type 2 muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers responsible for power, strength, and preventing falls. After 50, you lose type 2 fibers at a rate 2 to 3 times faster than type Y slow twitch endurance fibers. So if all you do is walk, you're maintaining the muscle you need for walking, but you're losing the muscle you need to catch yourself when you trip, to stand up from a low chair without using your hands, to carry groceries up the stairs. If this is the kind of information nobody ever told you before, hit subscribe right now because there is a lot more where that came from. And trust me, what comes next about these 6 specific foods, you absolutely need to hear. Let me be straightforward with you now because I believe you deserve the truth delivered clearly, not wrapped in gentle language that softens the message into something that doesn't land with the gravity it deserves. Progressive leg weakness due to sarcopenia is not a cosmetic issue. It is not about fitting into your genes. This is a clinical cascade that directly predicts loss of independence, institutionalization, and mortality. If left unaddressed, the consequences escalate in a very predictable and very serious pattern. Stage 1. You start modifying your behavior to avoid activities that expose your weakness. You stop taking stairs. You avoid walking on uneven ground. You start using your hands to push yourself out of chairs. You decline social invitations that involve walking. This sounds minor, but behaviorally, you are entering a sedentary spiral. Less activity means less muscle stimulus, means faster muscle loss, means even less activity. Stage 2. Your balance deteriorates because the muscles that stabilize your hips, knees, and ankles, primarily your gluteus medius, quadriceps, and ankle dorsiflexors, have atrophied. Your gait changes, you start shuffling, your steps get shorter, and then statistically, it is a matter of time before you fall. 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year. But here's what most people don't know. The primary predictor of fall risk is not age, it's leg strength, specifically quadriceps and hip abductor strength. Stage 3, and this is the one I need you to hear clearly, is a fall that results in a hip fracture or traumatic brain injury. 25% of older adults who fracture a hip never return to their previous level of function. 50% never regain independent living. And the mortality rate within 1 year of a hip fracture in adults over 65 is approximately 20%. 1 in 5 do not survive the year following a hip fracture, not because of the fracture itself, but because of the immobility, the hospital-acquired infections, the blood clots, the pneumonia that follow. I am not sharing this to frighten you. I am sharing it because the stakes of ignoring progressive leg weakness are real, and you have every right to understand them clearly. The window between "I'm noticing some weakness" and "I'm at serious fall risk" is not as wide as most people assume. So, what does the danger zone actually look like? Here are the functional signs that mean you need to take immediate action. Inability to stand from a chair without using your hands. This indicates quadriceps strength below the functional threshold. Difficulty walking up a single flight of stairs without stopping or significant breathlessness. Shuffling gait or feeling unsteady on uneven surfaces. Unintentional weight loss of more than 5% of body weight in 6 months. Frequent stumbling or near falls. These are not wait-and-see symptoms. These are act-now symptoms. And if you're still here with me and finding this helpful, take a moment to type the number 3 in the comments. It lets me know you're watching and getting value from this. Alright, let's shift gears from the why into the what do I actually eat right now. Because knowledge without action doesn't help you. And I want to give you a clear, specific list of 6 foods that have been clinically demonstrated to maximize muscle protein synthesis in adults over 50. Before I list these, I need to explain why these foods work when others don't. After 50, your muscles become resistant to the normal signals that trigger protein synthesis. To overcome that resistance, you need High leucine content, the amino acid that acts like a key in the ignition of muscle protein synthesis. Complete amino acid profile, all 9 essential amino acids, rapid digestibility, fast absorption into the bloodstream, and anti-inflammatory compounds to reduce the chronic inflammation that breaks down muscle. These 6 foods meet all 4 criteria. Food number 1, Greek yogurt, specifically high-protein varieties. Serving size, 1 cup, about 170 to 200 grams. Protein content, 15 to 20 grams. Leucine content, 2 to 2.5 grams per serving. Greek yogurt is a muscle-building powerhouse for one specific reason: whey protein. The whey protein in dairy is the fastest digesting, highest leucine protein source available. It spikes blood amino acid levels within 30 to 60 minutes of consumption, which is exactly what you need to overcome anabolic resistance. When leucine levels in your blood spike rapidly, it activates a cellular pathway called mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin, in your muscle cells. mTOR is the master regulator of muscle protein synthesis. It's the foreman at the factory telling the workers to start building. After 50, you need a bigger spike to activate mTOR effectively. Greek yogurt delivers that spike. Here's exactly what to do. Consume 1 cup of Greek yogurt, minimum 15 grams of protein, within 30 minutes of waking up. Why breakfast? Because you've been fasting overnight for 8 to 10 hours. Your body is in a catabolic state. You need to shift into an anabolic state immediately. Add half a cup of berries for anti-inflammatory polyphenols and 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed for omega-3s to reduce muscle inflammation. Food number 2, wild-caught salmon. Serving size, 4 to 5 ounces, about 113 to 140 grams. Protein content, 25 to 30 grams. Leucine content, 2.5 grams per serving. Salmon gives you a double mechanism: high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. The omega-3s in salmon directly combat anabolic resistance. Clinical research shows that omega-3 supplementation increases muscle protein synthesis rates in older adults by enhancing the muscle cell's sensitivity to amino acids and insulin. Essentially, omega-3s resensitize your muscles to the signals they've been ignoring. Here's the protocol. Eat wild-caught salmon, not farm-raised, which has lower omega-3 content, 3 times per week, minimum. Pair it with leafy greens and sweet potato. The carbohydrates in sweet potato create an insulin response, and insulin is an anabolic hormone that works synergistically with amino acids to drive protein synthesis. Food number 3, eggs, whole eggs, not just whites. Serving size, 3 large eggs. Protein content, 18 grams. Leucine content, 1.5 grams per serving. For decades, people were told to avoid egg yolks. That was terrible advice, especially for muscle health. The yolk contains 50% of the egg's protein, but more importantly, it contains vitamin D, choline, and healthy fats that enhance the anabolic response to the protein in the egg white. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that eating whole eggs after resistance exercise stimulated 40% more muscle protein synthesis than eating egg whites alone with the same protein content. The nutrients in the yolk literally amplify the muscle-building effect of the protein. What to do? Eat 3 whole eggs for breakfast or lunch, minimum 4 days per week. Cook them in olive oil or avocado oil, not butter, which is pro-inflammatory. Pair with spinach, which is rich in nitrates that improve blood flow to muscles. Food number 4, cottage cheese, specifically before bed. Serving size, 1 cup, about 225 grams. Protein content, 25 to 28 grams. Leucine content, 2.7 grams per serving. Cottage cheese is unique because it's primarily casein protein, which digests slowly over 6 to 8 hours. When you sleep, you fast. For an older adult with anabolic resistance, that 8-hour fast is enough time to enter a catabolic state where muscle breakdown exceeds synthesis. Consuming slow-digesting casein protein before bed provides a steady stream of amino acids throughout the night, preventing muscle breakdown and supporting overnight recovery. Here's what to do. Eat 1 cup of full-fat cottage cheese. The fat slows digestion even further, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Add a handful of walnuts for omega-3s and magnesium for sleep quality. This single intervention can shift your overnight muscle protein balance from net breakdown to net synthesis. Food number 5, lean beef grass-fed. Serving size, 4 to 5 ounces, 113 to 140 grams. Protein content, 30 grams. Leucine content, 3 grams per serving. Special component, creatine, 2 grams per serving. Beef is the most leucine-dense whole food protein available, but it has an additional advantage, creatine. Creatine is stored in muscle cells as phosphocreatine, which provides rapid energy for muscle contractions. After 50, muscle creatine levels decline. Low muscle creatine means reduced capacity for high-intensity muscle contractions, which means less mechanical stimulus for protein synthesis. Consuming creatine through diet or supplementation increases intramuscular creatine stores, which enhances strength, power, and the muscle-building response to resistance training. The protocol: eat grass-fed lean beef, 90% lean or higher to minimize saturated fat 2 to 3 times per week. Grass-fed has a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio than grain-fed, which reduces inflammation. Pair with cruciferous vegetables like broccoli or Brussels sprouts, which contain compounds that support healthy testosterone metabolism. Food number 6, lentils, plant-based protein plus fiber. Serving size, 1 cup cooked, about 198 grams. Protein content, 18 grams. Leucine content, 1.3 grams per serving. Now, lentils have lower leucine than animal proteins, but they bring something critical to the table: fiber and polyphenols. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the primary drivers of muscle breakdown after 50. This inflammation often originates in the gut. Lentils are rich in prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. A healthy gut microbiome reduces systemic inflammation, which indirectly protects muscle tissue. Additionally, lentils are rich in folate and magnesium, both of which support muscle protein synthesis and neuromuscular function. What to do? Eat 1 cup of cooked lentils 4 times per week. To boost the leucine content, pair lentils with a small amount of animal protein, for example lentil soup with chicken, or consume them alongside Greek yogurt at a different meal to ensure you're still hitting your leucine threshold. If you've made it this far and you're getting real value from this, type the word helpful in the comments. It's a simple way to let me know you're here and following along. Now, having this list of foods is helpful, but if you don't know how to structure your day around them, you won't get the results. Let me give you the exact daily protocol I recommend to my patients over 50 who are experiencing leg weakness. Breakfast, within 30 minutes of waking. Greek yogurt, 20 grams of protein, plus berries, plus ground flaxseed. Mid-morning, if needed, 3 whole eggs, 18 grams of protein, plus spinach. Lunch, salmon or lean beef, 30 grams of protein, plus sweet potato, plus leafy greens. Afternoon snack, optional, small handful of almonds, about 6 grams of protein. Dinner, chicken, fish or lentils, 25 to 30 grams of protein, plus cruciferous vegetables. Before bed, cottage cheese, 25 grams of protein, plus walnuts. Total daily protein, 120 to 140 grams. Total leucine, 12 to 15 grams across the day. This distribution ensures you're hitting the leucine threshold, 2.5 to 3 grams, at each main meal, which is what you need to overcome anabolic resistance. You're providing slow-release protein overnight to prevent catabolism. And you're front-loading protein early in the day when muscle protein synthesis rates are naturally higher. One more critical piece: muscle is 75% water. Dehydration reduces muscle protein synthesis and impairs muscle contraction. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water daily. If you weigh 160 pounds, that's 80 ounces, about 2.4 liters. Add a pinch of sea salt to your water to ensure electrolyte balance, especially if you're active. Now, I know the title of this video said these foods rebuild strength faster than any exercise. Let me be clear about what I mean. Exercise is non-negotiable. You absolutely need resistance training to maintain and build muscle after 50. But here's the truth that the fitness industry doesn't want you to hear. If your nutrition is inadequate, if you're not consuming enough protein and leucine to overcome anabolic resistance, exercise will not build muscle. It will just break you down. I have seen it repeatedly in my practice. Someone over 60 starts a strength training program, eats the same 60 grams of protein a day they've always eaten, and 6 months later, they're weaker. They're discouraged. They quit. Here's the correct sequence. Step 1. Fix your nutrition. Implement the 6-food protocol for 2 to 3 weeks. Step 2. Add resistance training. 2 to 3 sessions per week. Focus on compound movements, squats, deadlifts, leg press, step-ups. Step 3. Ensure you're consuming 25 to 30 grams of protein within 2 hours after training to maximize the muscle protein synthesis response. The reason nutrition comes first is simple. You can't build a house without bricks. Protein is the bricks. Exercise is the blueprint. You need both, but if you only have the blueprint and no bricks, nothing gets built. The foods I listed give you the bricks. Once you have the bricks, then exercise becomes extraordinarily effective. We covered a lot of ground today, and I want to briefly recap the most important things I need you to walk away with. What is sarcopenia? Age-related muscle loss caused by anabolic resistance, where your muscles stop responding effectively to protein and exercise after age 50. The warning signs. Difficulty standing from a chair without using hands. Leg heaviness or trembling on stairs. Shuffling gait or balance issues. Unintentional weight loss. Frequent stumbling. The 6 muscle rebuilding foods. Number 1, Greek yogurt. Breakfast, high leucine, fast digesting. Number 2, wild-caught salmon. Omega-3s to combat anabolic resistance. Number 3, whole eggs. Complete protein plus yolk nutrients amplify synthesis. Number 4, cottage cheese. Before bed, prevents overnight muscle breakdown. Number 5, lean grass-fed beef. Highest leucine plus creatine. Number 6, lentils. Anti-inflammatory fiber plus plant protein. The daily protocol. 120 to 140 grams total protein daily. 25 to 30 grams protein per meal, minimum 3 meals. 2.5 to 3 grams leucine per meal. Protein before bed. Hydration, half your body weight in ounces of water. And the correct sequence, nutrition first for 2 to 3 weeks, then add resistance training. Your leg strength is not a small thing. It is deeply connected to your independence, your confidence, your ability to travel and enjoy life, and your overall longevity. And yet, it is one of the most consistently neglected aspects of aging health because people assume it's just an inevitable part of getting older. Well, it's not inevitable. It's addressable. We just talked about exactly how to address it, and I hope you feel better informed, less worried, and more empowered to take action starting today. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this information reach more people who need it. Share it with someone in your life who you think might benefit, especially if they're over 50 and have mentioned leg weakness or balance concerns. Leave a comment below. Tell me which of these 6 foods you're going to start with. I read every comment and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And subscribe to this channel if you want to continue receiving straightforward, evidence-based health education that doesn't talk down to you and doesn't hold back the important information. Take good care of yourself. And remember, strong legs, strong life. I'll see you in the next video.